Hi, Paul. Glad to have you here. Hi,
Hi,
Paul.
Dr. Ayn.
Yeah.
Good evening. Nice
Hey.
to be here as well.
All right. So, Paul, I guess I was on mute just now. A
Yeah.
small little error from my side. But yeah, we have a special edition of Into the Vault with Lydian Labs today, and we're proud to find out more about what myBID is all about, right, Paul? So maybe you can take us away with a little bit of an introduction from your side.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ayn or Dr. Ayn. It's absolute a pleasure for me to be here with you today. I am the Chief Technology Officer at Rigoff at myBID, the myBID project. Where we are at the forefront of driving digital transformation, revolutionizing the identity space with self-sovereign identity. So for me, particularly, my journey has been, an accelerating roller coaster in the tech space. Having dabbled through several technological landscapes. From blockchain technology, AI, building systems, for the fintech or the financial space, insurance space, and whatnot. So at myBID, we are currently building the SSI technology, which is going to transform the space.
Right, right. And if I may ask, right, why choose? I mean, blockchain is vast, right, in terms of like the number of things that are available. I mean, innovations have been tremendous in the past few years. Ever since we have the likes of Ethereum coming on, we have the EVMs and whatnot that started kind of like pushing the boundaries in terms of innovation. So amongst everything, there's gaming, there's various protocols out there, but why identity? Why do you feel that digital identity has a huge part to play, basically, right?
Yeah, that's good. And Ian, have you watched the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah, I have seen the movie, but I have not watched the movie.
Right. I think the concept there, it's that analogy for me is more of the current space we are in, where you see things like artificial intelligence, so chat GPT, and not just that, we do have 3D, we do have augmented reality, we do have digital thread, and even things like biomimicry. So all these technologies are currently pervasive, in the entire space. But right now, if those things are everywhere, everything all at once happening in our global community, there needs to be a vein, there needs to be an electricity. And this is where we come in as digital identity. So digital identity is what stitch all these technologies together. Because before you use your chat GPT, before you use any of this platform, you must sign in. And we all know that without data, without identity, there is no internet, there is no information flow. So this is where we come in, not just creating the next generation Web3 digital identity, we are also bringing in a more unique concept, which is called the self-sovereign identity. Self-sovereign identity means we are giving control and power back to the users. So we are democratizing the digital identity space and bringing data aggregation, and also to tap into the $3 trillion market we now have in the identification landscape. So this is a great opportunity for everyone. We are excited, in myBID, and we know that the whole world is ready for this, and that's why we are here today.
So I've got curious questions that I want to find out personally, and I hope that the audience may be interested as well, right? In some of the things. But before I jump to the next question, so audience, do take note, right? That on the top left-hand corner of your screen right now, there's a QR code. myBID is running a Gleam giveaway right now, right? Do scan the code and find out more on what you stand to win, right? Do join the community channels, find out more about what's happening. And oh yeah, Paul, I need to congratulate you guys. That's a crazy amount of subscription for your launch, Paul.
Yeah.
You want to comment a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we came out, we just wanted to tap a bit, to take a few, but we have over 300, 400%, over subscription. And right now we know that, I mean, the entire community and economy, believe in this entire system. And we are also having an exciting, thing, which I'm going to announce at the end, for, what is next. After the 400% subscription, what are we going to do next? So at the end of the show, we are going to talk about it.
Nice. And don't wait for the end of the show. Make sure you scan the QR code that's available right now. Join myBID's Telegram community to make sure that you stay updated with all the announcements that they have. Exciting stuff coming up, right? And let's jump back into it, right? So I'm curious to know, yes, self-sovereign identity. I love the idea. Now, how did it come to pass, right? Like, how was it conceptualized? Maybe you can share a little bit of a story behind it, and also the team members that actually came together to make this possible.
I think first it started with, a mission. I think digital identity for our founder, Dr. Paul, and also the entire team is more of a calling. So we are not just here building a technology. We are trying to solve a global problem, a $1 trillion problem, which is more of the identity. We do have vast majority of the public, currently unbanked and not having identification or any means of identifying themselves. And not having identity means you are virtually cut out, of all the any kind of goodies that the world is advancing towards, and you will not even have the benefit of enjoying any financial inclusion. And so for we, it's a calling, and our team, comprises some of the best, brilliant minds, I've ever worked with all through my 15 years career. We have some of our directors from the United Nations that has been working, fervently for the past more than 30 years, to solve the identity problem. And currently is here. We do have previous Algorand, which is some of the top 10 blockchain technologies. That is currently the COO of Algorand is currently also part of our advisor. And Ian, I do have an exciting news for you. The only country that has launched the self-sovereign identity is in Bhutan, and guess what? The tech lead, is our architect, is also the tech lead in the project. So we have also 5 years, R&D and research. We are at the forefront of the self-sovereign identity per se. So we do have brilliant mind. We do have tons of team members, and we are here, to continue to drive this innovation and to move it to the next landscape.
That's, that's like world-class bench that you have right there, man.
Absolutely.
Like building this technology, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty disruptive. in the space, especially with, I mean, how do you foresee that this is going to be disrupting the main issue right now that's occurring in a lot of developing countries, third world countries, right?
Yep, yep,
I'm kind of like segueing a little bit in the terms
yep.
of the questions, but just want to hear your thoughts. How do you see myBID tackling the issues of undocumented citizens? Do you see this as a solution?
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the bullseye. This is one of the core drivers why we are in this current space. Because as I mentioned, it is a calling for the leadership team and most of the team members. And why not I touch on some of the issues, faced and how might be, play the role, to ameliorate some of those issues. We do have in some of the developing world or even the world at large, things like fragmented, inefficient identity systems. And this is a problem. In some of all these countries, they do not have efficient data repository or registry system or the technology, to facilitate identity. And this brings problems in terms of even land, registry and whatnot. And some of the things also being faced is because of the fragmentation of the system, we do have low adoption. So there are no adoptions of systems, lack of control, or overtly controlled by centralized party. And the mantra in product, any product you don't pay for and you use, you are the product, not it. So what myBID is, or the myBID token, it's an integrating platform that aggregate data backed by blockchain technology, which is decentralized, transparent, and it gives absolute control to the end users. And not just that, the myBID token is one of a kind, or if not, I think the most robust technology so far that incentivize you, and all counterparts, to utilize or share their data, to verify their information over the internet, to issue credentials. So myBID is coming to plug that gap, issue our technology as a cheaper rate, and is envisioned to cut short eKYC system by 80%. So this is an astronomical figure we are talking here, Ian. So that is why we believe the myBID, the myBID project and the myBID token is here to revolutionize the landscape.
Interesting. So because digital identity has always been a key problem, not only for especially when it comes to fraudulent identities, right? And I believe that's something that you guys are trying to tackle. So how do you foresee that this can be kind of like applied as a use case? Like what kind of industries do you foresee this being utilized in?
I think, Ian, I just don't want to blow our own trumpet, but it's going to be used for everything. Just during not a distant past, the pandemic, we do have the spike of technology use, Zoom and all that. I believe you saw what happened in Zoom. People are in meetings and some kind of lewd images, get hacked and presented on the screen. We do have tons. The hack rate, becomes, astronomical by figures. Several systems, due to how it was originally built, it wasn't built for security or total security. It's more of collecting data, encrypting in a centralized way. So there is a single point of failure, And also, if you read a recent McKinsey report, Deloitte report, you see things like the spike rate of corporate or enterprise hack is more than 200, 500%. And the world is losing billions of dollars. So what we do with the myBID project is bringing in a new, way where data can be more transparent, more controlled, and the principles of blockchain, which is everything is controlled and anonymity. But then the SSI is a purpose-built technology, for particular identification of individuals. And the myBID token is another layer, which is born out of our extensive years of experience, working from the United Nations to the fintech space, and also our technical teams cutting across different business verticals to see that, okay, we can incentivize people. We can actually make people get paid for their data. And that was why, we came up with the myBID concept, and also building on Solana, which is also, of course, something we are going to discuss more, why the tokens, on the Solana blockchain, and people are going to be incentivized for, riding on this platform.
Got it. So you kind of like dived into a little bit on the technology side of how myBID is actually built out, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned about security.
Yep.
Right, you touched on it just briefly. So
Yep.
maybe you can kind of like assure the audience right now, right? Today, if I sign up and obtain a myBID identity,
Yep.
How am I protected, right? How do I stop scammers out there from basically replicating or fraud or making a fake account of myself and representing myself when I am not aware of, right?
All right. I think this is a very good question. And I will just say this now. I mean, you can hold me responsible here. If you can hack, let's say, the blockchain, the encryption mechanism, you need a supercomputer. That means I think the fastest now is in Japan or Texas. I believe, if I'm still updated. You need a supercomputer, and you need about 20 to 30,000 years, to continue to hack. And by then, maybe we are maybe going to be birds or something. We've already transitioned out of the world. Of course, yeah, we do have quantum computers now, which will cut the time short. However, it's still under development. And so the blockchain technology, particularly, and the encryption mechanism, I do not want to dive too technical, because here is my myBID. It's rock solid, it's ironclad, and it is future proof. So the also why we do have current hacking, privacy infringement, or data breaches we do have, is because the current we have, even the most of the regulatory stops we do have, is meant not to, in a way, protect the duplication of data, per se, originality. There is no anonymity. So if I copy a picture or I copy your ID, I can use it, multiple times. The original copy, it's not, it's not, in a way, how will I call it? It's not single. So, but using blockchain, all your information or whatever you copy is linked, and it is also facilitated through a distributed and decentralized mechanism. So, I mean, virtually there is, right now, you must be some kind of top government, to be able to hack it. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, understood. Now, you mentioned that myBID is a Solana powered token, right?
Yep.
So are you using for myBID specifically? Are you actually using the Solana blockchain as a backbone in terms of like deploying the technology?
Very interesting question. What we are doing is one of a kind, and I believe that's why you see how we are oversubscribed. That's why you see, our token, because we are building a multi-purpose blockchain solution, meaning utilizing enterprise-grade blockchain, public permission, which is built on Hyperledger. So Hyperledger is the consortium, that builds enterprise-grade solutions, blockchain solution, for more transparency, because we understand that using something like, let's say, Bitcoin blockchain or all those blockchain, the gas fee, the cost for you to facilitate transaction may not augur down well for enterprise. So what we build there is on the Hyperledger, Indy, and Harris. So this technology allows you to build decentralized identity without necessarily waiting for the gas fee. So it is more of a deterministic consensus mechanism. So that is for the identity. So what we did, which is quite unique and quite innovative in this entire space, is why not we peg something on it, to peg a token? And that was why we thought, okay, we can actually build a multi-wallet system. And this system is based on now the Solana. So this is where Solana comes into play, whereby we utilize Solana because of its transaction speed. We care about the end users, and we are gung-ho about our mission to revolutionize and change the entire world. And in fact, reach out to 1 billion people without identity. So we chose Solana because of the low transaction fee, the speed, and also it's not necessarily going to impair with the digital identity per se, which is built on the Hyperledger space. So these are blockchain grade solution we're building, and this is something new. And even myself, I'm excited, to continuously to use this tech, this cool tech.
Right. So it's good to know, right? Because I think real world use cases right now, the common concern, aside from gas fee, it's always about that transaction, isn't it? Like today, if I want something verified, in the more traditional method of running it, it happens almost instantaneously because it's centralized, right?
Correct.
Now that if you're interacting with the blockchain, then you're going to see a lag time of anywhere between, well, depends on the chain. 1 sec can be 1 second, can be 3 seconds, can be 5 seconds, and that more often than not can be a little bit more frustrating in our time and age, because we're so used to instant gratification, right?
Yep.
Basically, the likes of Spotify, YouTube, Netflix, all these platforms, they've spoiled us with instant load ups, right? So that may have been a barrier to entry, and I think what you guys have done here have really answered like a lot of questions, right? In terms of like use cases in the real world. So before I jump into more on collaborative partnerships that you have coming up, and anything that you guys kind of like want to announce, I want to point the audience once again. I've just shown the QR code for myBID's Telegram community. Be sure to scan the QR code, join the Telegram, and find out more about the announcements and everything that's happening. And on the top left-hand corner of your screen, you'll be able to see that there's a Gleam giveaway that is currently running live, right? Don't miss out on that, right? I want to say it's magic internet money, but it isn't, right? It's well earned, and I think myBID wants to come from a position where they want to reward their users, reward their community members, right, for their loyalty, for supporting them on their endeavor, right? Right. So the next thing that I kind of like wanted to kind of like discuss about is that partnerships that you have. But one other segue question that I would have would be, I'm a medical doctor right now, right? I am keen to know what are the potential use cases for myBID for potentially globalizing medical records. Do you see it as a potential a roadmap in the future? Do you think you can incept that?
Absolutely, Dr. Ian. I think one of the core industry that the initial previous generation blockchains wanted to solve is the issue of healthcare. So healthcare has always been an issue. You go to different hospitals, you have to scan multiple times. And of course, that takes a lot of power, a lot of paper, a lot of tasks. Is cumbersome. So what happened with why that has been a little bit lagging is due to, of course, still the way that blockchain is being designed, and which in a way doesn't comply with the healthcare global regulatory standard, PDPA and whatnot. So this has been an impediment, and it will continue in the long haul due to how, let's say, the Bitcoin blockchain and all those ones were designed. So what we are using, the MBID is one of a kind because it is self-sovereign, and the blockchain is public permission, meaning it is friendly to government kind of style. It is friendly to all sort of, I will boldly say, regulation. If they said, okay, particular hospitals don't need to share how the computation is done, it is possible because it can be hosted and you can plug into the MBID, just to facilitate in terms of the credentialing, why some of the component of your data is stored there. And one of the important or critical user proposition that MBID has, the myBID project has, is more of a self-sovereign. So the data reside with the owner of the data. So in that case, if the custodian of the data, the owner of the data, I would not want to delve into data management, but there are all different layers. So all those different layers doesn't, in a way, it doesn't go well with the other public blockchain. But the MBID project, you can have permission. So consent only permission. I go to KPJ, I see my doctor, I share the only information which is required.
Mm-hmm.
See how powerful that is. I go to Sunway Medical, I go to Gleneagles, they want that information, I still reshare. We do have a very important feature called the selective disclosure. And this selective disclosure allows you to mix and match, different data points, share as need be. You can even give some kind of time-bound data verification model. So these are pretty cool stuff we are talking here. And on top of that, we do have our EKYC solution. Underneath it, we are also leveraging, some of the cool things in LLM. We'll discuss that, what are our future plan, that's large language models, to ensure that we solve, the hospital concerns, which is based on one thing, the principles of SSI. So MBID is based on the principles, which is more of a consent-based transparency, portability of data, interoperability. So we do have a very good case in healthcare. And in fact, one of the things we are solving right now is in the healthcare space, where we are trying to talk to people, okay, it's time to jump on myBID, because MBID token will facilitate, help, all the medical practitioners, to solve their problems.
Interesting. I'm genuinely really excited. This has been a question for me ever since I joined the blockchain industry, and I've always been trying to find out, like, are there any projects out there that are gonna be taking that leap, right? Obviously, it's not a road without obstacles, right? Definitely, but it's a start, right? And I can already, based on whatever you just explained, just based on healthcare, I can already foresee what are the potential use cases in the legal system, everything, basically, right? Anything that contains data that is packed and tied to a specific person's unique identity, it can follow that person, and that person can choose, basically, whether or not he wants to disclose it to any other person, right? And I'm genuinely, like, really excited to see what's up to come. And so just jumping into the next point, right? Like, probably you want to shed some light on collaborative partnerships that you already have on multiple tiers, right? Whether it be it with businesses, with governments. Go ahead.
Thanks. I think we do believe in collaboration. We do believe in, ensuring that adoption is properly, taken into consideration. So before we even started the entire building phase, we do have what is called Whale, which is the Web3 Innovation Launchpad, per se. So this Launchpad is a vehicle for we to collaborate with various business verticals and domains, and also to train talents, because you do need talent as well in the pool to ensure that, they are able to ride on the myBID platform, per se. And in terms of government, we are talking to various governments in the Pacific, and we have already landed a strategic, partnership with the government in the Pacific, to use myBID as the backbone of their entire digital landscape. And this is quite exciting, because we now know, that we do have partners that will not just ride on us, will tap into the benefit and some of the novel capabilities and features we are building. And also, of course, in Malaysia here, we are talking to local government. I've also spoken to more than 5 local government, and there is very good interest, how to use the MBID platform, the myBID, to solve their problems. So yes, I mean, partnership is something we'll continue to do. We'll continue to partner to ensure that we also keep innovating and to serve the public and to stay, very direct with our mission, which is to deliver the most inclusive blockchain technology globally.
Nice. So a hot question, right? Regulatory compliance, right? Especially when we go cross borders, right? I believe there are countries out there that have already implemented blockchain technology into their systems, and data centers where data are being stored are of key importance for a lot of governments, right? Is this a core concern for myBID? Do you feel that this is something that it can be transcended, and there can be a breakthrough, so much so that there will not be a concern that there's a national security a national security potential risk, right? For information leak. So how do you where do you stand as myBID on this?
I think we do have some of our leadership have been also in the regulatory landscape. So that is why we pay particular keen interest in terms of what we build, because the regulatory environment, the products and what we serve drive the technology. And this is where I think a previous generation blockchain, in a way, did not live up to that expectation due to how it was built. So of course, we do look at regulatory landscape. We do look at how can we fulfill, those requirements across the board. So what we did is we took, like as I said, we are 5 years plus, 2018 till now, maybe 6 years, if my math is good. So we did quite, amount of research, scrutinizing different regulatory environment, and also in terms of document out there. And we found something interesting, that the most advanced, regulatory environment, or in terms of building the regulations, is the European Union. And so prior to this, we do have the NIST, which is more of the United States national security, and this body governs cybersecurity. But what the Europeans are doing, particularly at this point, is building what is called IDAS or ESSFI, which is an electronic digital identification framework. And this is based on the principle of something very interesting, the principles of SSI, which we roll on, which is the future most advanced, most robust, and most resilient. And in fact, it's definitely at this point being adopted as the gold standard across different landscape. So what we are doing, we are also working with legislators, with people building all this policymakers, to ensure that they understand, how this tech work. And there is a huge, buying, going on right now. So what we are building comply fully with PDPA, GDPR, HIPAA, even in terms of credit card. It is the future, because we know that the current systems are broken, and the current regulations are not there. They are not comprehensive enough. And I think also this is why the myBID, the MBIT token, is another component to even make adoption, and to make it more safer, because your information and everything you do is traceable and is controlled by you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Any pushbacks from the governments? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've spoken to quite a number of them, right? Any like huge pushbacks on their concerns?
I can assure you, I mean, all through my career or our company, dealing with a blockchain technology, this is the time. They are all learning, they are all interested, they are all seeing that, okay, this is even more advanced. And the European Union are doing something more advanced, in this space, and we are complying fully with their regulation, with Switzerland, So at this point, I think we only have buying, and we are talking with a lot, also trying to create focus group, to educate, and of course to help, build a system in a more robust way.
Nice. Okay. So I noticed that you refrained from revealing the partnership of your or the country name, but I'm gonna leave it at that. So I just want to use that as
Watch out.
yeah, that's right. So I just want to leave that as a carrot for the audience, right? And I want you guys to kind of like make sure that you join myBID's Telegram community. I'm going to flash the QR code out again, right? Make sure to stay in touch, right? You don't want to miss out on something groundbreaking. You don't want to miss out on the next breakthrough. Now, I'm not here to FOMO you guys, right? But you are truly going to miss out on something great if you don't check these guys out, right? So be sure to scan the QR code, join the Telegram community. There's a giveaway ongoing right now, and something that I have not announced, right? We will have a Q&A session at the end, so be sure to put in your questions now so that we can probe the minds, right? The genius mind of Paul. right? And at the end of it, we'll pick two best questions, and you guys will walk away with some money, right? I love money. I wish I could participate in it. I have asked a lot of questions. I wonder if I'm in the running. But yeah, um, next topic that we want to touch on, right? The myBID token,
Yeah.
right? How do you see it play its role in a broader vision? Because you mentioned something about reward, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Everyone loves rewards. Hence why I just mentioned the reward side
Yeah.
of things, right?
Mm.
But yeah, let's go a little bit beyond the rewarding system.
Mm.
X to earn is kind of like has been preached on for the past 2 years over and over again, right? But maybe you can kind of like shed some light on the robustness of this token and where it's heading towards.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, and also I think I can see some of the very intelligent questions. Some of the guests ask. I think this is one of the answer. Is what is the aspect of myBID, MBIT token? We think that not think we know that when you don't pay for any product, you are the product. That's one. And secondly, all data, as we sit down using centralized systems, we don't own it. Like myself logging into maybe this platform, for instance, not using myBID. I believe the next one you're going to be using myBID to log in this platform, all right? So that
Nice.
it has to be controlled by everybody. So your data is stored elsewhere, and that's where we have a lot of spams, a lot of advertisement and stuff, thrown at us. I get called by my bank all the time, not my bank, someone else. Hey, this from Standard Chartered, HSBC, blah blah. You need to take some loan, but not me. I didn't apply. So
Mhm.
I think these are problems that we face currently. We do not know where our data are. We don't have during the pandemic. What happened? We know some interesting platform got hacked 1.2 million times. Platform and data of citizens, data, with some people else. We don't know when it's going to explode. So MBID is a means of incentivizing. It's a utility token on the platform. So you have your identity signed in. I go to an hospital, or example, I want to use someone wants to verify me. You get incentivized for verifying your data. So isn't that cool? Even myself, I'm excited. I just want to scan everybody here now. To get that incentive. So it's an incentivizing mechanism that pays people for issuing credential, for verifying credential, for keeping their credential up to date. And so this is an underlying fuel that drives the innovation of the platform, whereby the token will be of high demand because you need to pay for stuffs, you need to also send stuffs. It can also be a tool whereby let's say research, they want to conduct some research and they need data. Right now we are not going to be held by the mercy of some of the big uncles that wants to just take your data. You're a medical doctor, so you know about that.
Mhm.
Take your data and do some research. But now you can be, given the due respect, to access your data from your consent. You have to give the consent before they use. So this is one of them. Also cross-border. So cross-border is a thing, you want to also go elsewhere, to get your data verified. With the MB token, you are going to be paid. So, and also depending on how the information is utilized in any party where you are, cross-border, you are going to be incentivized, across. So there's also compatibility issue because we are building a blockchain agnostic identity system
Mhm.
whereby, it can work even with several blockchain. So these are some of the things we have in our pipeline, and also our chief product officers and people, they are working so well, to ensure that, we have, some of the top-notch features in place.
Got it. Got it. So, in terms of because we know that the crypto world lives on demand and supply, right?
Yeah.
That essentially drives token pricing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, how do you see introduction? I know that you have really kind of like touched based on
Yeah.
some of the utility that's going to be coming our way, especially when you're using myBID, right? Um, what are your plans like to create that evolving scene, right? as your ecosystem expands, right? How do you create that demand by increasing what kind of utility?
Yeah, I think thanks. This is what will I say keep us awake many years back. While trying to also make sure we give the public the best. Build the best product. So one of the things we are doing is we understand that there ought to be some kind of global standard of digital identity and
Mm-hmm.
also tokenization.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one way we intend, to see how we can drive demand is to continue to push. That's why we launch what I mentioned earlier, the wheel, which is the Web3 innovation launchpad. So
Mm-hmm.
by engaging various parties, bringing everyone on board to facilitate, to know how the technology work. So MBIT becomes this global facilitator. That is why we've currently, have a strategic partner with the government. So imagine that becomes, the standard, the backbone of all their digital presence. That will also be one of the very innovation or innovative feature that will definitely drive the MBIT token. So also interoperability and efficiency is an issue. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
most blockchain work only on that particular blockchain. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And also identity, you use an identity. I'm not sure which type you use to do EKYC. You only use that platform.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are saying is, hey, we do have a layer, 5 layers. If you go to our website, the architecture, for those that are tech savvy, you can have a look. So we do have the blockchain layer. We do have the centralized, the decentralized hub, the identity hub. This hub is an aggregator that
Mm-hmm.
enables third parties and any kind of tech to just consume the API, exchange credentials, and get down with your business. So
Mm-hmm.
this component of interoperability and also driving efficiency, we believe, will also drive the adoption of the MB token.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, and also ecosystem growth. So this
Mm-hmm.
is something we are fervently working to expand, and to also, as I say, train a lot of people, partner with people, having focus group, with different universities, colleges. We do have partnership with universities as well, just to mention. So just to name a few, and there are other exciting features which we need to surprise our audience, because we are more than 5 years plus in this particular tech space, and we believe that we are going to bring the best for the public.
Nice. Okay. So I think you kind of like answered it quite well in the sense that I love the fact that you mentioned the word interoperability, right? And I think that's like kind of like the holy grail that most people are trying to go after now,
Yeah.
right? Whether be it in the various parts
Yeah.
of blockchain, right? I'm keen, definitely very keen to see. I'm pretty sure the audience are as well, to see where you guys will be taking this, and where it's heading towards. And I'm pretty sure the audience will not want to miss out on this opportunity, right? So be sure that that every single one of you join the community, find out more, right? And as Paul has mentioned, go to the website, right? It's very simple. mybid.tech, right? Go check it out. What the offerings are, and I'm pretty sure big announcements are going to be coming up, right? So I'm gonna do some closing in terms of like questions from my side, and then we'll head towards the Q&A from the audience, right? Um, yeah. So what's next? Like as you mentioned, you guys have been at it for 5 years, and you're coming out to market soon. So what can we anticipate? All right, Q1 is almost over, right? Darn it, Q1 is almost over. What's there to look forward to by the end of the quarter, and what's upcoming in Q2?
I'm so excited. You know why? Because we just tested some of the cool features of interoperability, for example. Whereby we do have the main facilitator of the digital identity is what is called the DID, which is the decentralized identifier.
Mm-hmm.
And we are confident to say, I mean, this is particularly at this point architected to also leverage, Miro Solana. So we are having also an EKYC solution that makes the sign-on seamless. So not necessarily keying in anything, you can just use your face and it still registers and activate on the blockchain. So that is some of the things. And also we know that identity, as I said, is the electricity of all digital space as such. So right now there are use cases, pilots, for credentialing, for certificates, for example, school certificates, also healthcare, that we are building, and this is going to be released very soon. So there are other features, that is going to be building on the identity, myBID identity platform, which our audiences you should be expecting to see.
You are a tough nut to crack, aren't you? You're not revealing what's coming up in the next quarter. You genuinely just skirt around, and you mentioned that you guys have successfully tested interoperability, and you're really trying to keep it mysterious, and I love that, right? And guys, you need to join the community to find out more about what's coming up, right? Follow the socials right now on x.com, right? So that you don't miss out on this. And the major challenges and opportunities that you foresee, right? That's going to be ahead. You already mentioned that you want to break through this huge industry, right? Closing words from you. How are you going to tackle them once again? And how are you going to take the world by storm?
I think for me it's very simple. I mean, 1960, Ted Levitt, the illiterate of the 21st century are not those that cannot just read and write, are those that can learn, unlearn, and relearn. So we are continuously innovating, we are continuously building. Of course, are there challenges? There are, because we do have currently a fusion of technology and also an explosion of technologies, whereby we do have the artificial intelligence, identity space, cybersecurity is a problem. And we believe that solving cybersecurity issues, solving AI issues, needs a well-defined, futuristic digital identity. And not to talk about the space whereby it's sitting on a $3 trillion identity market, which is projected to grow within the next 3 years. And we are ahead of the curve, because we've been in this for the past 5 years and will continue to be here. So I encourage, the audience to come on board, to use the myBID platform, and we do have a lot of exciting things at the core. And just a closing word, I believe that MBID token, myBID project, is the umbilical cord for all decentralized, all digital identity space. So come join us.
Nice. Can't put it better, to be honest. I'm bullish as I'm not gonna cuss, but I'm
It's
so
fine.
bullish on this right now.
It's fine.
Can't wait to see what you guys are gonna reveal soon enough, right? Now, okay, let's jump into the questions, right? Some of the questions are not appearing right now, so I'm just gonna curate them a little bit.
All right.
But I see one here from Li Jia Chen, right? How myBID's SSI differentiate from similar solutions towards inclusivity for underserved communities? I believe that we kind of touched on it briefly at the beginning, but maybe you want to expand on that a little bit more for our lovely audience here.
All right. I think, we've spoken on that, but I can still expound on the idea. I think we understand that the need. What is the function of every product is to do a job. So all products are used to fulfill the need and to do a job. And in our team, we do have, as I mentioned, we have some of our advisors and directors with the United Nations that have not just understood or worked in the identity space, but they have been on the ground for more than 30 years, trying to facilitate with the locals, facilitate with the communities, how identity work, what are the problems. People mostly look at the technology point of view. We look at it holistically. We look at it from a top down. So that is why all the features which we have curated, they are well vetted through. They are well understood from proper data point, not just building a tech to test. No, we are building a tech based on real data analysis, and also futuristic need, and also where we are today. So our technology is not just about the platform, is also the wheel, the launch pad, engaging people adoption, and also ensuring that we move everyone along. So this is a differentiating factor that we have in our company, the myBID project.
Right. So I hope, Jiachen, your question has been answered, right? Um, so I see a very similar question,
Yeah,
Jiachen. I
yeah.
think our viewer here, Jiachen, is trying very hard to get part of the $50 that we're giving away for the best questions.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want people in.
I have another question that I managed to kind of like scrape off
Okay.
from
Yeah.
Twitter. There's a Jaden Wong that has asked, what is the function of myBID token and its tokenomics?
Okay, good. Just to keep it simple, utility function, it helps in terms of verifying credentials. You update your credentials, you get paid for your credentials. All right. For example, you go to a bank example, and you want to get your credential checked. You get paid for verifying your credential accurately, meaning keeping proper information. You get also incentivized for keeping updated information. And one important thing we have is what is called the trust score. So depending on how your data is verified and how the level of information you provide, it get increased. And also, of course, that is also part of how much incentive you're going to have. So our tokenomics is also backed, by demand and supply of digital verification, point of view, the need of transaction, also staking. So you can stake your token, for the MB token, and then you utilize it to get the return and the reward. So these are just some part of the processes and things we have. Also cross-border payment, cross-border settlement, and you can also trade on them. Yeah.
Got it. So I hope Mr. Wong here has gotten his answer. I
Yeah.
believe, is the tokenomics already on the website?
Yes, please. You can look at the white paper. You can also please join our Telegram, even on Twitter. Please ask. I mean, we are always ready, to respond. Yeah, you can check also on the white paper to get in-depth, grilling of the tokenomics.
Got it. So, audiences, don't miss out on that opportunity. Scan that QR code and join the Telegram community, right? So I have this question here from a Mr. Kartik X. What other potential partnership and entities of are of target for myBID, looking towards collaborating with moving forward? I guess the question is more shaped towards, you've talked about collaboration with governments. Are there plans to collaborate with, I don't know,
Yeah,
companies,
I
corporate?
can take that. I think I can synthesize the question here, what potential partnership. I think we are open to all, speaking to government, policymakers, also engaging focus group. And that is why we do have active, as we speak, partnership with some universities. So we are open to all, even private entities, like from the healthcare space. We do have some partners, and also people in, let's say, e-subsidy or some kind of government. So anybody, because identity, I don't think is something we can be selective. We need to join the party, and we need to make sure that we all collectively, join the MBID, to solve issue of identification and privacy infringement.
Got it. Okay, let me just kind of like put up one last question here. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Uh, so I think it's from this guy. All right, here you go. So I think this is going to be the final question, right? I think it's a very valid question as well, from Mr. Joe C. Right. So for those unfamiliar with blockchain technology, how would you explain its role in myBID in a way that's easy to understand? I'm guessing,
Yeah.
treat us all as laymen. All right.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm a 70-year-old man who has not touched technology much other than making phone calls from my mobile phone, how would you explain it, what myBID is to me?
Okay, I think this is a very valid, interesting, and thanks to, is it Joycey that asked the
Yeah,
question?
I think it's Josie.
Okay, okay. I think, how would you explain the role of blockchain? Yes, you're right. There are a lot of misconception, lot of not understanding how the technology works. Like AI, for example. If you talk about AI, people just want to build system because they already know the output. It's going to solve things faster, make decisions that human can make in a faster pace. Taking off the workload. So blockchain for sure, because people are trying to go to the nitty gritty. So blockchain, for example, is like your Microsoft Word. Imagine your Google Docs. Let's use Google Docs. I believe you all are familiar with Google Docs. If you type with Microsoft Word on your computer, you type. Personally, that is one information. And if someone steals that document, for example, and you don't have a backup, you lose it. When you use Google Docs with your colleagues, for example, both of you are typing on it, there is transparency of that information. And you can track who make change, when they come online, who open the document by just going to the settings. So this brings transparency. So this is the same problem faced in identity space. When you use the current identity system, your identification system, that information is stored in one place whereby you don't even have control of. When you use the blockchain, the role it plays in the myBID project, the verification of your information is decentralized, is stored in different locations, but the key to open it rests with the owner of the data. So blockchain brings this security, it brings portability, meaning if Dr. Ein is with your information and with your information, he closes his computer, which is analogous to stealing his laptop or something. Paul can still open up the computer and you can see your data. But in this context, Paul is you. You have this absolute control over your data, and you can control who can edit, who can view, who can comment on this feature. So this is what blockchain is all about. And also one thing we have to know the role it plays is one killer feature. Maybe I leave you guys with this. It is called the zero knowledge proof. So right now, all identity system you see, they just know how to verify information and the store, and things can get missing. And for you to verify, you need to expose everything. But right now, with the myBID project, with the underlying blockchain, you can verify that you are Dr. Ein, you are this, without even revealing your name, without revealing any information about you. Can you imagine that? So you just scan a QR code, and the person want to verify that this is Dr. Ein, and they don't know anything, they don't even see the name, but the system tells you this is correct. So this is some of the killer features that blockchain play in the myBID project.
Mind blowing. Right. I mean, I know I've said it many times. I mean, I hope I don't come off as fake, right?
No,
But I'm genuinely, like, authentically really excited to see what's next to come, right? And right now I gotta put this on your shoulders. You gotta pick two questions that you really liked. Um, I think you can see it in panel in terms of like the questions, or if do you need me to kind of like flesh them out again?
if you can flash, because I think the questions here, we've touched on them, but please, I need to, if you can help me out.
Oh yeah, the questions kind of like disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared. But I can see one from Abdul Hafiz. Hi, Abdul. When will MBIT contract address? Okay, I think I don't get that clearly, but I try to synthesize this information. The smart contract is up. The information is up. We are already on mainnet. So just to clarify, the token is up. And in fact, we are selling. So try to go grab some copies, of MBIT tokens. Yeah.
Oh wow, he's responding. So
Okay.
yeah, I believe Hafiz asked about contract address, and he also asked about total supply.
Yep. All
Yeah,
right.
so I think Hafiz, I think you can just quickly run over to mybid.tech, mybid's website. Go to the white
Yep.
paper, and I believe all information will be there. Good sir. Right. The questions have kind of like disappeared. So we will announce the winners basically for the Q&A session in the Telegram community. So more incentive for you guys right now, for you audiences, to scan a QR code, join the myBID Telegram community, right, and
Yep.
wait for that announcement. I believe it will happen sometime soon. And yeah, Paul, thanks for your time. We're well over an hour here right now, speaking about your passion, your technology, all your blood, sweat, and tears, right?
Yep.
And really appreciate you coming on, shedding light on that next big thing, right? And I believe with the, you know, we don't know, but don't quote me, bull run. I believe there's many things, greater things to come, right? And before we go, Paul, I think that's that little bit of something that you kind of like wanted to announce at the
Yeah.
end.
I was just waiting for you to call on me. I mean, in case you want to switch it off, I'm going to stop. So, I mean, we are oversubscribed. If you can look at what is going on CoinStore, I'm super excited. And since we care so much about the community, the people, we have the motivation and people saying, hey, we need more. So we are launching, we are doing launch part 2
Wow.
on CoinStore. This is big. This is mind-boggling. So just announcing to the community for everyone to hop on our Telegram, on our Twitter space, and let's all be myBID.
Wow, 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 wow. Second launch pool.
Yeah,
Let's go.
exactly.
Right. So I think more announcements are going to come, both on x.com and also Telegram. So be sure to be part of the community. You don't want to miss out on this. So I guess everyone now knows CoinStore is going to be it. myBID is going to be listed on it, and with the launch pool going on, don't miss. If you missed out on the first one, don't worry, myBID got you covered, right?
Yep.
Launch pool 2 is coming up, right? So stay tuned for that. Paul, once again, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And and to the audience, be sure to check them out, both on X and also on Telegram. Await those big news, big announcements, big collaborations, and let's see what myBID has to offer to break through that huge industry of identity and stop all the fraudulent activities. Thank you so much again, and we bid you good night.
Thank you. My pleasure. And thanks, everyone. Bye, Dr. Ayn.